Welcome to my family journey. The family journey is a required course for the Doctor of Ministry to Marriage and Family at the Palmer Theological Seminary in Wynwood, Pennsylvania. As a student in this program, I am required to undertake a journey into the past, quoting the words of Dr. Carol Schreck, a professor in the program. But how neglectful and self-absorbed we become if we fail to revisit those benefactors from whom we have received such an inheritance. For it is in knowing them that we can ever truly know ourselves. I invite you to come with me on this journey to my past. The journey begins with God, for God created Adam and Eve, and from this first human family, the entire human race can be traced. I want to focus on my Indian ancestors who were born and lived much of their lives in India. Let me tell you a little about my ancestral land, India. India is home to one of the richest and most ancient civilizations in the world, which existed over 5,000 years ago. This civilization originated in the Indus River Valley. Hence, the name given to it was Indus Valley Civilization. It is the origin of many of the ideas, philosophies, and movements which have shaped the destiny of mankind. The civilization, with its main cities Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, flourished for over 8 centuries. Its people, thought to be Dravidians, whose descendants still inhabit the far south of India. Indian history is divided into 5 main historical eras. They are Aryan and Greek invasions, Maurya and Gupta periods, Muslim invasions, European invasions, and the independence of India. My journey takes on a significant turn during the European invasion of India. Due to the economic hardships in India, Indians sought work outside of the subcontinent. They left the shores of India to go to Mauritius, Guyana, Trinidad, and South Africa. For it was during this period of British rule in India that my ancestors left India for South Africa. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, my ancestors from the subcontinent arrived in South Africa as indentured laborers. They were offered work by the British in South Africa as laborers on the tea and sugar estates, mainly in the Natal north coast of the then Natal province. Africa at that time was known as the Dark Continent. It was considered dangerous and uncivilized. The indentured laborers, despite the hardships of the long hours, the language barrier, and lack of educational opportunities for their children, endured and made South Africa their home. Many of these indentured laborers were Christians, and about 150 of them were Baptists. These Baptist indentured laborers extended an invitation to the Telugu Home Missionary Society in India to send a Telugu-speaking minister to provide pastoral care for them. In 1903, Reverend John Rangya, his wife Kankama, and 2 children arrived in Durban, South Africa to begin ministry among the Baptist indentured laborers. Among the indentured laborers were my dad, Raymond Sarvanathan's paternal grandparents. Also among the indentured laborers was my mum Tilmathi's or Lily's grandparents. Her grandfather on her paternal side was Mr. Rampasad, and on her maternal side, her grandfather was Mr. Pawa. I do not have the names of her maternal and paternal grandmothers. My mom's parents were Gangadin Rampasad and Dan Andari Pawa, and she had 7 siblings. They were Lal Prasad, Mrs. Singh, Telama, Girdari, Dolly, Mohan, and Bachi. Here are the names and families of my siblings. Mamsi, she's married to Stanley Naidu. They have 2 children, Claudette and Clinton. Claudette is married to Terence, and they have a son called Trenton. Daryl, he's married to Penelope, and they have 2 children, Keith and Kyle. Lynette is married to Kennedy Govender, and they have 3 children, Lushane, Kedron, and Keenan. My siblings from my stepmom, Jabez, is married to Ziana. Japheth is married to Charlene, and they have a son called Kalen. Robana, the youngest daughter, is married to Marcus, and they have a son. My youngest brother, Drennan, he is the son of Deepakaran and Raymond Ragwan. July 12th, 1986, I married Eva Francis, the love of my life. We have 3 children. Renton Emmanuel Ragwan, born in 1988 at the Victoria Hospital in Tongat. Edwin Ryan Ragwan was born in 1989 at the Victoria Hospital in Tongat. Renee, our youngest daughter, Renee Emilia Ragwan, was born in 1992 at the Chatsmith Hospital in Durban.
Sometimes